and welcome to Talk to Me with the Coach Michael E. Mayden. I'm the Coach Michael E. Mayden, and those of you that are watching today's show, we want you to get on the phone as we break away for our opening for the show. And any and everybody that you know, we want you to tell them to tune into this show. We want you to tell them to tune in because we got some information to share with you today that we think will be very valuable and very enlightening to you. So we're going to break away with our opening. And as we do our opening for the show, we want you to get on that phone and tell everybody you know to tune into this show. An economic embargo has been imposed on our inner city communities with the design of keeping our people down. And it's by design, it's not by coincidence. As we tape this show, there's over 1 million black men in prison today. There's over 300,000 black women in prison today. And that's not by accident, that's by design. You know, just a few days ago, the U.S. Attorney Fitzgerald held a press conference in Chicago to announce that they had did a big drug raid throughout the Chicagoland area. And I believe they had arrested over 200 drug dealers. Now, let me give you some insights to that because there was some very pointed information that was made by the U.S. Attorney when he announced this raid that took place across the city and across the county. First of all, he said there was a two-year surveillance that took place, that they did undercover work watching these guys sell drugs, deal drugs, and transact drugs. Now, my question to you, if they was doing a surveillance for 2 years on these drug dealers, you know, why didn't they arrest the people who supplying these drugs to these drug dealers? If you surveil me for 2 years and you follow me every place I go for 2 years, you know everything I'm doing. Now, you didn't catch the transaction in those 2 years of who these people were getting these drugs from? You see, you got to understand, there's a system in place that is geared toward incarcerating black men, black women, and Hispanics. That's a system in place. That you got to understand, prisons is a billion-dollar industry when you take in across this country. All the jails that are built, and they have to put somebody in those prisons. They making money, big-time money, off incarcerating men and women. And the people that are going to jail at unproportionate rates to anyone else are blacks. And second, Hispanics. And more importantly, if you look at those that are going to jail on a regular basis, they're poor people. They're poor people. They're people that have been the victim of a lack of economic development going on in their communities. Now, when you say economic development, what are you saying? You're saying that what happens is there's no jobs in their communities. So when there's no jobs and you have no means to make legal money, decent legal money, you're going to revert to the means of the law of the streets. And the law of the streets says by whatever means necessary. You see, when we turn on TV and we see the lifestyle of the rich and famous and all of these other shows that show, you know, these youngsters with driving big cars with these big chains on their neck with these earrings and rap music and all that, it's glamorous to a young person. And when the means is not there to make money, to the kind of money that it takes to obtain these kind of things, they will go out and revert to illegal activities if you don't make resources available for them to get jobs. And what happened is you have a system in place in our inner city communities. In inner city, black, Hispanic, and poor community, you have inferior school systems to those that are rich and have money. So consequently, you have inferior school systems. You're not properly educating or putting proper funds into educating these young people, so they're going to drop out of school. And when they drop out of school, they have no education, they have no job training skills. So what are you going to do? They're going to turn to crime. And when they turn to crime, you're going to put them in jail. You see, we can't pass handgun laws because the Constitution says that you have a right to bear arms. Well, that's another show, another place. But, you know, guns matriculate and find themselves in the inner city communities because there's only one purpose for a gun, and that's to kill. It's to kill. And people use guns to kill one another. So what happened, you have a system that makes it easy to infiltrate guns, and they glamorize all these fancy shooting guns and so on and so forth to appeal to the appetite of a young person. So, I mean, if you got a gun, the natural thing is you want to use the gun. And you know, in the inner cities, what they do is they use it on each other. So what you do is you put a system in place where you got this street corner, you got this street corner, you got this street corner, we go sell drugs to make money. And what happens is when you come across my territory, I'm going to get one of these guns and we're going to kill you. And we're going to put you in jail. So we got a system in place that feeds drugs, gangs, prison, and the grave. Because, again, once again, when they get involved with gangs and start doing killings and drive-bys, the funeral industry is making money. The flower company is making money. The suit making companies make money because you know you got to buy suits to bury Junebug and Sally and Sue in. So everybody's making money off the economy that is driven to incarcerate. You know, when you have over 1 million black men in jail, and you have over 300,000 black women in jail, and before the end of this century, you will double and triple that number. That is the form of a Holocaust. You know, when we talk about the Holocaust, people get upset. When we talk about castration of a people, they get upset. But yet when we talk about over nearly 1.5 million black men and women in jail, people don't say nothing. They're not concerned. And you got a system that feeds people going to jail. You got a system that feeds crime. You know, the best way I can describe this, if I work at a fast food restaurant dealing with food, and I'm homeless, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak and eat me some of that food. So by law, I committed a crime. And you have a system in place that have put so many things before our young people. We have not put the financial resources before them in the forms of jobs and economic development in our communities, which create jobs. So you have a system that creates poverty, and as a result of creating poverty, you are feeding the prison system. Now, and you got to understand, somebody's getting rich off of the misfortunes of the people of our community. Or let me rephrase it, of the people that look like us, the people of color. When you look at this city, let's take this city because we're getting ready for election as we tape this show. And in this city, we have police surveillance cameras all over this city in poor black and Hispanic communities. I've yet to drive through a rich white community and see surveillance cameras. I've yet to go through the mayor's gated community in the downtown, near downtown.